Here's your wrestling news for July 23rd, 2021. And your headlines for today include why Daniel Bryan picked AEW over WWE, great news for all female WWE wrestlers, CM Punk to AEW is a 100% done deal, Punk's reaction, tentative debut date, and more. Yet another famous name added to AEW roster. Video wall and stage collapse at Rolling Loud Festival ahead of WWE SmackDown matches. WWE SummerSlam to air in movie theaters. Karrion Kross's entrance reshot during NXT tapings. Interesting reason behind the reshoot. WWE's reason for Karrion Kross losing Raw debut match. WWE executives sell off tons of company stock. WWE has exciting plans for Big E's Money in the Bank cash-in. Lana joins the cast of the Surreal Life, and more. We are starting today with Daniel Bryan, who has reportedly signed a deal to join All Elite Wrestling. Arguably the biggest signing for AEW ever, Bryan left WWE in April this year, and the signs of his departure for AEW had been there for a while, including WWE dropping all plans for merchandising and licensing with him involved. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer explained that it was ultimately Bryan's desire to work in Japan that tipped things in AEW's favor, saying, "There were a lot of factors that are going into whatever decision he would make. It was New Japan, AEW, and WWE. He didn't consider anybody else. He has loyalty to WWE and Vince McMahon, and he has a lot of friends in WWE. In the end, the company who had the relationship with New Japan would be the favorite to get him." WWE President Nick Khan has been trying to get a deal with New Japan going, but that hasn't gone far yet, and it was clearly too late to stop Bryan from joining AEW. In comparison, New Japan's IWGP US title changed hands on this week's AEW Dynamite, and Bryan may soon be competing for the gold himself in either company. There had been some hope that Bryan would return to WWE, and some fans speculated on his return when the former WWE champion's name was referenced in segments between Roman Reigns and Edge. It now appears that WWE were never close to re-signing Bryan, as WrestleVotes mentions that it's been months since his name was last brought up by Creative. Bryan's future in WWE had been up in the air since his April 30th banishment from SmackDown at the hands of Roman Reigns, and despite hopes that this meant he'd be moving to Raw, NXT, or a new role in WWE, that was never the case. Back to WWE, and the King of the Ring tournament is one of the company's oldest traditions, but despite the company's women's evolution, there's yet to be a queen crowned. That's going to change very soon, according to Wrestling Inc., who report that a Queen of the Ring tournament will be announced very soon and will happen in 2021. The obvious favorite to win this tournament would be the Queen, Charlotte Flair, especially as a tournament victory could earn her another women's title opportunity, but it could be so much more interesting if a different woman dons the crown later this year. Earlier this week, it was reported how CM Punk is in talks with AEW, and the best in the world isn't denying reports of his impending debut. Instead, Punk is continuing to tease the idea that he's joining, as he posted a short clip in Instagram stories where he uses the song "Serious" by the Alan Parsons Project. Basketball fans may know the song as it's used by the Chicago Bulls, and fans didn't take long to point out how the all-out pay-per-view he's expected to appear at will be in Chicago too, on September 5th. When asked, Punk hasn't shot down the rumors of joining AEW, and in the Wrestling Observer forum, Dave Meltzer confirmed that there are things going on behind the scenes, and that if Punk isn't signed, then there's at least an understanding between them. Meltzer added that there's been talks about certain dates, which is an indication that things are pretty far along, or that he's already signed. Ringside News later confirmed that talks are going ahead very quickly between AEW and Punk, and called the idea of Punk joining a quote, "done deal." A source close to the situation said that an agreement had been made, and that they're waiting until they are in person to sign the contract. With Daniel Bryan rumored to be debuting at the Grand Slam Dynamite special on the 22nd, September 2021 could be the biggest month in AEW's history if the two former WWE World Champions actually debut as expected. Punk is more than likely to be All Elite very soon, but as one of wrestling's biggest stars of the past 15 years, it's no wonder AEW wasn't the only company who wanted his services. Fightful Select notes that Ring of Honor also took steps to bring Punk back and that Marty Scurll sent out feelers to Punk in January 2020, but those talks didn't go far at all. Another interesting note is that the report stated that the general idea was opponents and general plans were more important than dollars offered for CM Punk. With a net worth of approximately $10 million, money is not a concern for Punk, meaning he can choose where he wants to go based on the caliber of matches he could have. What Punk does when he joins AEW in September remains to be seen, but the best in the world evidently believes that the best matches he can have are in Tony Khan's company. 2021 has already been a huge year for AEW, and bringing in Punk would be the biggest acquisition they could make, but the company needs to work fast to make his contract official. During his podcast, Andrew Zarian explained why AEW is in a hurry to sign Punk, saying, "I would say that there is more urgency. The CM Punk thing is taking a little bit longer, but you kinda got a month and a half because you definitely want him for Chicago for All Out, because if this is it, then you want him on that show before Chicago." AEW All Out 2021 on September 5th is now just 44 days away and would be the perfect place for Punk to make his debut for the company. By comparison, signing Bryan is said to be much easier for AEW, especially as it's reported that he's already inked a deal with the company. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said that AEW had 4 big signings planned for 2021, and given that we've already seen Andrade and Malachi Black join, the debuts of Bryan and Punk would complete AEW's epic signings for 2021. Punk and Bryan aren't AEW's only big signings, as Thunder Rosa is officially part of the company. That was confirmed this week despite there being some time left on her NWA contract, and Ringside News has learned that Tony Khan bought out Rosa's contract from the NWA. Thunder Rosa first entered AEW as NWA Women's Champion and quickly became a fan favorite, and now she'll be with the All Elite promotion on a full-time basis. SmackDown news as tonight's show will be a historic split-site broadcast, with most of the show happening in Cleveland and a handful of matches at the Rolling Loud Festival in Miami Gardens, Florida. As one of the largest music festivals in the world, appearing there is a huge win for WWE, but the superstars who attend should keep an eye on falling debris. The local NBC affiliate in Miami reports that a giant video wall and part of the stage collapsed this week at the Hard Rock Stadium as crews assembled it for the 3-day event. Around 6 p.m. local time, festival organizers were seen covering the destroyed area in a black tarp, and on Twitter informed fans about the accident, adding that everything will be fixed by the time the festival begins. Fortunately, no one was injured, and the show will go on as planned. Tonight's matches from Rolling Loud include SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair defending against Carmella, and Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews versus Big E in a non-title bout, and hopefully there won't be any more accidents when the stage is constructed correctly. SummerSlam news next, as the WWE and Stephanie McMahon have insisted that this year's event will be as big, if not bigger, than WrestleMania 37. Not only will a full crowd be watching at Allegiant Stadium on August 21st, along with fans watching from home via Peacock and the network, but the show will also be streamed live in selected movie theaters. That's part of a partnership between WWE and Iconic Events Releasing, and SummerSlam will air live in movie theaters for the first time ever in 33 different states. Fans can find the closest cinemas to them by going to WWELiveInTheaters.com, and it'll be interesting to see how this new way of viewing plays out as the world continues to get back to normal. Now on this week's Raw, NXT champion Karrion Kross made his Red Brand debut, and the baffling decision was made for him to lose to Jeff Hardy in 2 minutes. Needless to say, fans weren't happy about this decision, and this bad booking has followed the champion back to NXT. Bodyslam.net reports that during Kross's entrance last night, loud Hardy chants were hurled in his direction ahead of a segment between Kross and Samoa Joe. The chants were such a problem that fans were asked to stay around after the show to reshoot the whole scene, and one fan in attendance claimed that they were lied to by WWE, who'd promised them something special after the show when they tried to leave. That something special was Kross's entrance once again, this time without the Hardy chants from the crowd. WWE wants Kross perceived a certain way in NXT and doesn't want some fans to ruin his image, which makes the decision to have him lose to Hardy on Raw all the more bizarre. Clearly, fans haven't forgot about Kross's loss on Raw, and although fans still think the logic makes no sense, we now at least have a reason as to why it happened. During the Mat Men Pro Wrestling podcast, Andrew Zarian revealed WWE's reasoning for the loss, saying, "You know what the justification is? He cheated, so it's a cheap win, but he's a former world champion, so it just shows you the lack of consistency with their champions. Jeff Hardy is a mega star. He changed the industry for smaller guys. He created a new time of wrestler. I asked about it and they said, I don't know why everybody is freaking out about this. It was just one step in the direction we have for Karrion Kross, and this is leading into something." Zarian added that now that Kross has a loss on Raw, the plan is for him to destroy everyone in frustration, which at least gives some reasoning behind this week's decision. Fans may not have liked the loss, but it could lead to something big for the NXT champion. But the decision for Hardy, who's been little more than a jobber in 2021, to win is yet to be explained. Despite releasing a ton of staff in the name of budget cuts, WWE is making record profits right now, and several top executives have even made more money by selling their stock. Recent SEC filings show that Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon were just some of the names who sold stock, valued at $46.88 a share. Vince McMahon unloaded the most shares, 17,465, to make $850,196. Nick Khan sold off 14,404 shares to make $65,259. And Triple H and Stephanie each sold 4,410 shares to pocket $214,678. Kevin Dunn and CFO Christian Salen also sold off a lot of shares too, but don't take this as a sign of a sale, as everyone involved has plenty of stock left in WWE. Back to the ring, and in a recent interview, Big E made it clear he plans to cash in Money in the Bank on Roman Reigns, and it appears that this is the plan from WWE. Andrew Zarian reports that according to his sources in WWE, there are big plans for Big E, and during his podcast, alluded to a successful cash-in by the former New Day star. Outside of Battle Royals and Royal Rumbles, the last time Big E and Reigns faced was in a six-man tag at Survivor Series 2017, where The Shield toppled the New Day. Big E will be looking to avoid a similar fate when he cashes in, and after the dominant year of the Tribal Chief, cashing in on an exhausted Reigns may be the only way to take the title off him. And we're ending with Lana, aka CJ Perry, who is released from WWE this year, but she won't be joining her husband Miro in AEW just yet. This week, it was announced that Perry is joining VH1's The Surreal Life, which is a reboot of the original show that ran from 2003 to 2006. Similar to Big Brother, the show features celebrities coexisting under one roof, or at least trying to coexist, and Perry will be joined by the likes of Dennis Rodman, Stormy Daniels, Frankie Muniz, and other celebrities. The show will premiere in fall of 2021, meaning that if Perry does indeed join Miro in AEW, it won't be happening until very late 2021 at the earliest. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.